Hi, this is the Running Channel podcast. My name is Rick Kelsey. I'm a journalist. We've been doing this show for about 3 years. Over there, that's a guy called Andy Badley. He ran in 2 Olympic Games and he retired in 2017. He used to run very fast, not so fast anymore. But
what's going on?
What's important is that the person who sits in between us, Sarah Hartley, she's the star of this show because Sarah Hartley's just done something rather special. She has just ran a sub 3 hours, 30-minute marathon in Rotterdam.
Yeah, I did. And we're going to talk all about it.
It's all about you today.
I'm going to be allowed to speak for a whole episode.
All about you.
Uninterrupted.
Oh, well, let's see about that. And what a way to celebrate the fact that absolutely nothing has changed on the podcast apart from the fact that we're on a brand new YouTube channel.
Let's celebrate and get into it.
Let's celebrate you.
You seem quite annoyed that we have to celebrate me.
I'm not annoyed at all because you actually ran in the same shoes that I'm going to run in London next week.
I know, I just put them through a little test. We will talk
a little
about
test.
Yeah. Quite a big test.
Yeah, quite a big test to be fair.
Almost as testing as surviving 45 minutes with me and Rick on a Monday morning. And we are recording this less than 24 hours after you've run. Yeah.
Can I just say, I think London should have less steps. Everywhere.
Fewer steps.
My morning commute this morning takes about an hour and I did not realise how many steps there were in it, and every single one. And I was so prepared this morning for if someone gave me a look for like taking a seat. I was so ready to be like, I ran a marathon. What did you do this weekend?
Wow. Yeah, you are remarkably sprightly though today.
Yeah.
Are you just powering through? Is it going to hit you?
I'm powering through. Yeah, it will hit me later on.
You're clutching something. Can we show it? We're just doing all of the reveals early, aren't we? The time that you've run, etc., etc.
A really beautiful medal. It was the 45th edition of the Rotterdam Marathon, and I love the medal. It's also got space on the back for you to be able to like get your time engraved.
Yes, my Valencia Marathon ones have that. I've never done it.
No, I think I might do it.
Do you know what? It also just reminded me that a marathon isn't actually 42.2, it's 42.195. So those 5 meters, actually, I'm buzzing off that.
It's not 5.
Yeah, 5 meters less. Well, before we recap the marathon, let's talk about you two.
50 centimeters, is it? Or is it 5 meters?
5 meters?
Yeah.
Come on. You went to Cambridge. Come on. I went to Aberystwyth.
You're still Team Mouse. Come on. How is training for London going?
Who cares?
No, come on.
Who cares about me?
You're
Literally,
in the taper.
No one cares. The best compliment I've had today is that, Rick, you look slightly less pink today.
Well, you
that was before we press record. You're quite rosy
pinked
now.
up.
Yeah, you have pinked up. But you're in the taper.
I'm fine. Yeah, I mean,
it's your first marathon in 9
years. Yeah.
How are you feeling?
And so Sarah has just, we're going to talk about time, but percentage wise, Rick's going for a much bigger PB in London.
Yeah, I'm trying to knock an hour and a half off my time. Exactly an hour and a half.
Wow.
I was saying this to someone in the office though, because Jack, one of our editors, came up to me this morning and he was like, so when's the next one? As a joke. And I was like, no, I genuinely believe that for how long you have to suffer for, if what you're motivated by is going for a PB, leave it as long as possible until you run your next marathon.
Yeah.
Because there is no way with one training block, if I like recovered and then went straight into it, I'm not knocking another 15 minutes off.
Oh, interesting you say that. I've got a little something for you later on in the episode to talk about that. But Rick, you are tapering. Does it feel like it?
Do you feel tired?
I think it's slightly embarrassing to say that you did a 25k run and you're in a taper. That's just ridiculous.
7k less than the week before.
Yeah, it's just absolutely ridiculous.
Are you at the stage? Are you still?
I'm at the stage where I'm looking at the weather forecast. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you really hungry?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you still feel tired, or do you feel like you're
No,
I
don't feel I was tired. I recover a lot quicker than I did a few years ago because I've actually listened to you two a bit and now prep for the day and the training. But on the last taper, it was warm. And when I say warm, it was not like any other conditions that I've trained in.
When was this, sorry?
On last Thursday. So I went out and it was 19 degrees. So it was sunshine the whole way through. And just looking at my heart rate, and I was fascinated by your heart rate in Rotterdam, my heart rate was about an average of 10 beats per minute higher than it was on every other long run that I've done. So it went from about 152 to about 162 average for my long run.
That's a big jump.
And that is a big jump, but it was a 10-degree jump in temperature. So week before went out in 9 degrees, 10-degree jump, going out in 19 degrees, and then that 10 beats per minute increase in heart rate. And that is big. And I felt like I had to do so many loops of what Andy's speciality of dumping water in bushes. I was leaving it in my front garden in North London, hoping the neighbours who hate me didn't poison it. And
you're still here.
I had to go back so many times for water. So I was actually thinking this changes my strategy a little bit if I'm looking ahead.
Well, 2 things. Number one, I can't believe I'm saying this, but between now and race day, you need to spend as much time in your hot tub as possible. Passive heat training.
Passive heat training, interesting, yeah.
And 2, double check on the course, 1, where water is, and 2, if they have sponges, because that makes a huge difference if it's really, really hot.
We're going to talk about water later on in the news section as well, aren't we? I did my hardest workout of the week on Wednesday evening last week, and getting a bit of stick in Strava, quite rightly, because there are people who live in incredibly hot places that are like, 24 degrees, which is what it was on Wednesday evening.
Yeah.
Is nothing.
No, but it's the difference to what you've trained in compared to what you're racing. It doesn't matter where you
everything
live.
with your body and temperature is relative. So going from everything being 7-8 degrees to then all of a sudden trying to do a hard workout at 5 by 2K, which was disgusting. In Victoria Park as well in London, where the whole of London was in Victoria Park, it was genuinely...
Oh, really?
So normally running along the canal to get to Victoria Park, depending on the time of day, like that can be rammed right with bikes and people, and it's very narrow. Victoria Park's got much wider roads and it's traffic free. There's a lot of cyclists, a lot of people just wandering about, and hundreds of runners. It was genuinely hard to run because it was that busy. I've never seen it like that. And it's cool because everyone's like, oh, sun, let's come out.
Yeah.
But I had no drink, so I stopped and used a water fountain for the first time in a long time.
There's 2
in my recoveries. And I was trying to strategically make sure that one of my recoveries would allow me to take water from a water fountain.
Yeah.
And then I did my workout on Saturday, and it was 7.5 degrees and freezing rain feels like 2. So
it's a big difference.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I know we were talking about you, Sarah, so we'll get me and Rick out of the way quickly.
No, because it's almost time. So Rick does his marathon, then a week later, you're back.
Milton Keynes half marathon.
Can we talk about what's the goal?
Sub 75.
But what's the goal?
I actually think it is sub 75 because that whole course isn't what I would ideally pick.
Right.
And first week in May could be warmer. So I think
Bank holiday, May the 4th be with you.
I would say that if it was dead flat and I knew it was going to be 10 degrees.
Yeah.
And I was in there's lots of ifs, and I was in a fast race where I was going to get carried on with lots of other people.
Yeah.
Then I think
it's not going to be 10 degrees.
I think no, it's going to be a lot warmer than that.
Yeah.
So I think I could go significantly under 75 minutes.
Yeah.
But I've never done it before. And it's this thing that 5K, 10K pace, I'm okay with that kind of pain and discomfort and stuff. Whereas the 75 minutes of that, like the hardest thing I've done since retiring was the half marathon I did last year to try and break 75, and around 76 minutes. So I've sort of not taken this one for granted.
Because you've never ran that fast for a half in your career, because you just never ran halves.
No. So I put a big week of training in last week. I had this hot weather session on a Wednesday night. I ended up
was hot.
Yes, thanks. Even Rick agrees. Ended up running just over 80k for the week, which is my biggest week since.
That's a lot.
So yeah, and then I eventually almost did 2 sessions this weekend. So I did the session that is like my nemesis. I was texting Andy about it. He asked me to do 24 times 60 seconds at 10k pace.
And is the aim for those to be as like consistent as possible?
Yeah.
How consistent were they?
They were pretty consistent actually. Like although I was doing it out and back on this stretch that's maybe like 2 or 3 miles long, and it was wind into my face in one direction and behind me in the other direction. So it was that made it challenging. Yeah. But you only have 30 seconds recovery. And it's actually easier, I think, to run the 24 minutes at 10k pace without stopping than it is to slow down for 30 seconds and then speed up again, because you just lose all your rhythm. And then I dived straight into a long run to help a friend out who's training for London on Sunday. And instead of just doing an easy 90 minutes, I did 3 times 5k at marathon pace. So
what's that marathon pace?
Battered today. He's very similar to me, so he's trying to go under 250. So running 355Ks. So yeah, basically I did 3 times 5K at about 90, just over 19 minutes for 5K in the middle of a 21K run. So we did a half marathon on Sunday and
bit much.
85
Andy,
minutes or something.
Sarah almost ran that fast in her final kilometre in Rotterdam.
I know. Unbelievable. Should we dive straight in and let's find out all about you?
Let's talk about it. Where do we want
You
to
got your
start?
finishers t-shirt on?
I have, yeah.
Can we talk about...
Did you actually, just before we do, I want to wonder whether you were talking about the train and the steps. Did you wear your medal this morning?
on the way home?
I didn't wear it in. We flew back after the marathon yesterday. Do you know what's really funny? So, Owen, as we all know, we've mentioned it before.
Yeah, Air Miles producer Owen.
Despite the fact that he flies quite often, has to be at the airport super early.
I do think this is very, very much like this was your MO. Like this was if I was traveling with you pre Owen, I'd be like, right, okay, the flight's at 10 a.m. and you're like, okay, can we get there at 6? And I was like, no. And then now
I do
you just
also enjoy doing that. Yeah, now
Owen wants to get there about 5 minutes before you want to get there. And so now you can make fun of him for getting there early and be like, oh my God, Owen, can't believe we're here so early.
We got to the airport and Owen was Googling in the taxi if there were 2 airports in Rotterdam because it was that deserted. Then we get there, there is 1 flight leaving that airport, ours, for the rest of the day. The check-in desk wasn't open. We had to sit on the floor at check-in for half an hour waiting for the check-in desk to open.
Oh, I didn't know this bit of the story.
Then we had to sit for another
Why did you sit on the floor?
hour and a half. There are no chairs at check-in because you arrive and you check in and then you go somewhere else.
Oh, so you just had to...
so we literally just sat on the floor.
And this is what, 6 hours after you finished a marathon?
Oh, that's bleak.
This was 6:30 and we finished like 1:30, something like that.
Are you well? Or were you ill yesterday?
Well, so this is the funny thing.
You had a Maranoia cold, didn't you, before the marathon?
Yeah, I had like a bit of a Maranoia cold. And I'm not sure how, like, you never know what goes into the final edit, but on the shakeout run, I did it with Katie, who paced me, and we took a GoPro out. And I was it wasn't like a chesty cold. It wasn't that I felt unwell, but I was really like bunged up. You can still kind of hear it a little bit. Yeah. And I was like, oh no, hay fever? I'm getting ill. I don't really tend to get hay fever.
So obviously that might have boosted your heart rate a little bit. And most people who run a marathon would probably sit a lot of it in zone 3 of your heart rate zones, maybe tipping into zone 4, but not you. So your stats, quite remarkable. So you ran a whole marathon either in zone 4 or zone 5, basically 50-50.
Yeah, I spent, I'm just looking at my Garmin data, I spent 9 minutes in zone 3, and then I spent an hour and 43 minutes in zone 4, and an hour and 35 minutes in zone 5.
Whoa. Can I say that's not normal? That's not normal.
So, we went to a really lovely like pre-marathon dinner with Asics on the Saturday night, and there was someone there talking about the runner's high, and they were saying like, they were debating like, will you feel it on marathon day? And they were saying like, oh yeah, because in a marathon, like you're not doing that kind of all out sprinting effort. You're more going to be in like zone 1, 2 or 3. And I remember looking at my watch partway through the marathon being like, I'm not in zone 3.
Yeah, this
could be a problem. But I think
for that reason, I would never have my heart rate showing in a race.
Yeah, I did not look at it at all. And I think I know we're obsessed with data, and I know everyone wants the data and they want to use it, but I was clock watching in the first 5K, and I wanted to look at, I had lap pace for the whole marathon, but I did want to just have like a quick glance at live pace, because like the kilometre that we were in was like a bit up and down elevation wise, and I looked and saw that my heart rate was already in zone 4, like 2 or 3 kilometres in, and at that point I was like, I'm just not looking. Yeah. If I feel good, if I can carry on, I think my heart rate, because I've had this before in previous marathons where people have messaged me and been like, what is going on with your heart rate? Yeah.
You do have a naturally, it seems to me, quite a high heart rate when you're running, even when you're not running that hard. So I do think that's deceiving.
But that on an average heart rate of 174 beats per minute for the marathon. Like, comparison is the thief of joy. Yeah. I get it. But I'm just looking at Andy's average heart rate and my average heart rate for our last long run. So I was running at 32k average heart rate of 154 beats per minute. Andy, yours is similar, wasn't it?
I'm just about to find that out actually. So I was going to look at what my Valencia marathon.
But there's obviously different ages. There's different ages between all of us.
Yeah, but he's a lot. But he's a lot
older than us.
Yeah, but his is still ridiculously low.
Yeah, average heart rate was 155.
Yeah,
for the whole marathon.
What was yours? Sorry.
174.
174.
I mean, you are
Max heart rate 192.
nearly 20 years younger than me. So I suppose by the like 220 minus your age thing, it's not that disproportionate. But yeah, 170, even when I was, I suppose at my absolute peak, the top of my threshold would have been 174, something like that.
Right.
And I don't think I could have run it. Oh, I could run at that for like 40 minutes maybe.
Right.
I couldn't do it for 3.5 hours.
I just quite enjoy suffering.
But yeah, I think everyone's, but I remember running with someone who was the same age as me as an elite.
Yeah.
And their top end of threshold was like 155. And there'll be people where it's 180. It's so individual.
That's the thing about Paula Radcliffe as well, wasn't it? That she could work at such a high percentage of her VO2 max.
Yeah. Yeah. So you could have two people with the same VO2 max, but ultimately what dictates how fast you're able to run is going to be your running economy, so your oxygen costs for running at a certain pace. But also, if all other things are the same and you can run at 90% of your VO2 max for a marathon, then you're probably going to be a better marathon runner than someone who can only run at 70% of their VO2 max.
On that, where this video should be out by the time this comes out, we did a video with Mark, who's preparing for London Marathon, and he was joined by Charlie Sanderson, who is a 2:15 marathoner lining up on the elite start line. And watching them run, Charlie basically paced Mark for his long run. Watching them run side by side is fascinating because the running
difference in mechanics.
Yeah, the difference in mechanics, the difference in the what's it called?
Vertical oscillations, how much they're both going up and down. The different gaits and strides was so interesting because they were both running at sub 4 minute Ks, but Charlie was so bouncy, whereas which maybe at that is more inefficient because he's going up and down a little bit more, whereas Mark was literally level, but his run is more of he's a bit
shuffle.
of a shuffler.
Yeah,
he's a trail ultra shuffler.
Yeah,
that's what I love. I don't know. I think it must be the same throughout the whole spectrum of marathon times. But I think that probably at the very, very fast end, then there's going to be less difference. There'll be differences in cadence and stride length and bounce and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot more similarities. But then I've always found it amazing at the paces that I'm running, the people that I'm surrounded with in terms of age, gender, how they run, how kind of short strides, long strides, how much they're bouncing. It's fascinating. And I think if you just took any one of those people out of isolation, you'd have absolutely no chance of guessing what their marathon time was.
No.
And that's
super interesting because it's we always say, your body optimizes to you.
Yeah.
So there are always little tweaks. My thing is my arms come across my body far too much. And so I'm constantly trying to think about my arms. But yeah, it's fascinating watching different people run.
And a lot of praise for you. Deservedly so. Let's just give it where it's due.
Yeah.
Yeah. A truly inspiring physical and mental achievement. You battled the demons of 2024 and won. What was the 24 demons?
London Marathon.
Yeah.
Very tearful, very different. And that was a peak, actually.
That was also a PB,
that was a peak,
which
yeah.
it might not come across as well.
I want Rick to give you this praise quite rightly, and then I want to come back to how it feels mentally this time compared to the last PB, because they're both massive PBs. So
yeah.
Amazing. So happy for you. Looks like you're also making great progress on that mental block. Do you feel like you did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hugely.
Absolutely incredible job. How did you do it? You really pushed yourself to the max. Sarah, your run was absolutely phenomenal. Huge congratulations. And your pacing was just remarkable.
I have to owe that to Katie, my pacer.
Your pacing was...
Yeah, your pacing is unbelievable. I was following you on the app.
Katie is a metronome.
Yeah.
Basically 4:56.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 minutes 56 per kilometre.
What was interesting,
but you were just getting fractionally quicker every 5K, it seemed like.
Yeah, we just we honestly just felt really good. And I think Katie would push on a tiny bit.
Yeah.
And there was at no point was there any conversation of okay, we're really good here. Let's push on and let's aim for this.
Were you talking?
Yeah. We had loads of good chats.
Really?
You were talking with a 174 heartbeat.
What? That's why your heart rate is so high, Sarah.
I can't believe you were talking.
Yeah, I was having a little chat.
You having a chat?
I was telling her we passed some people that I knew, and I was telling her about that, and then we didn't talk the whole, like there were long periods of silence.
Have you got the capacity to talk? I sometimes try to close my eyes to save calories.
Yeah, when I was Freddie's getting nothing from me in Valencia when I was running.
Oh no, I think there were some kilometers that were so hard. I was like, because Katie was very silent at the start, and we hadn't really talked about like how much we were going to talk. So I just spoke at her for like the first 10k, and then in the last 10k that flipped.
And just a couple more amazing, huge congratulations to you and the team who were part of your journey. And this final one, Sarah, you're amazing. No pressure, Rick.
Oh, yes, love that.
Maybe we should take this chance. I want to say that you've gone under the radar a little bit. Like there's one person out of the three of us that's been really milking this marathon thing, and it's not you.
Who?
Who could have possibly done that?
What?
How?
Sorry?
No, it does feel, and I kind of wanted this block to be a little bit like that. That was kind of my whole strategy. Was I don't think I even said sub 3:30 out loud that much. I started to talk about it a little bit, but it's very fitting that we did this whole. It's very fitting that we did this whole Rotterdam journey with ASICS, and I'm so grateful to them for like supporting me through it, because genuinely their mantra of sound mind, sound body, it was running through my head for that whole marathon. And I think it's like a light bulb finally went off and clicked. And for all of the past races that I've done, when I tried to break 45 minutes for 10k, when I tried to break 20 minutes for 5k,
you mean when I failed to pace you to both of those days?
No, but I think ultimately I could have run all of those times. 10 times over. Like, the one thing that I am confident in myself in is that I will always get the training done, and I will never show up at a start line unprepared physically. But I think for so many runs and races and like record attempts, I was showing up to start lines unprepared mentally. And that is actually, like, in the last year, I've done way more work on mindset and how you talk to yourself and what you tell yourself in those moments where it was really hard, and it totally paid off. And there were moments in Rotterdam where I didn't even recognize myself because there were moments where I literally was like, okay, I really want to stop now. This is either boring or hard or like whatever. And I was saying out loud, come on, you can do this, you're fine.
So what happened then? How did that feel? Talk us, like, we spoke to Dr. Amit Mistry, and we were talking about kind of the things that you tell yourself in those tough moments. Yeah. And I know that the thing you used to tell yourself was, I can't do this, I'm rubbish.
Yeah.
And so what's different now?
So what Dr. Amit was saying is absolutely true. You can retrain yourself to react in those moments, and I think that for me is the biggest learning. And they are just thoughts, and you might never get to the stage where those thoughts don't happen. Like those thoughts were definitely there and present throughout the whole race, but they were just like, they were quieter. And
we were able to be like, I think we talked about almost observing the thought. It's like, it's just a thing. It's not like, it's not a truth or a reality. It's just like, oh, that's a thought that I've just had, that I'm not good enough, or that I can't do it, or that I don't want to do it. Yeah. So then you're like more removed from yourself. Yeah.
It's just like, I have like a little, in the same way that in order to run, loads of us have different sets of shoes, and we have our favorite shorts and top and sunglasses or on our watch or whatever. Yeah. It's like, now I have a little box which has all of my mental tools in a race. And from working with like sports psychologists as well, that's how I've built that toolbox of, I have a whole, what they call confidence bank. Yeah. And you pick 2 things from that bank for each race. So my 2 things were, 1, I'm really determined. 2, I'm great at running hills. Yeah. Which I thought was a rogue one to pick for a flat race, but actually it was quite undulating.
97 metres.
Yeah, but oh my gosh, you feel that. You can really feel when you're going up. But
just a little interjection from Rick there. There's literally no one I've ever met who must have a more full confidence bank. than Rick Kelsey.
Yeah, but that's
it's like
why.
overflowing. It's like a secure storage facility. You know, one of those
He's
big,
just renting out little boxes.
He's like
in
an
it.
Amazon warehouse of Rick's confidence facility.
If you fly over it, it actually takes up the whole window of the plane.
Landing strip.
Yeah.
Helicopters are just constantly landing there. No, but that's what I think. There are so many people, like, running gives you confidence in so many different ways, but when you do set yourself a goal that's really scary, it can be so easy to like doubt yourself and tell yourself that you can't do it. And one of the other things that I worked on with Dr. Josie Perry was working out who the persona is, the negative voice is. For me personally, it's Sharpay Evans from High School Musical, and she's super dramatic. And when there were moments where I was telling myself I couldn't do it yesterday, and it was coming from her, and I was like picturing her in her little like dressing room of the theatre. But there were also moments where I was literally checking in with her and being like, thoughts, feelings, how are we?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, I'm all good. I'm making a sign to like cheer you on. But I think that stuff, if you're Rick and you're super confident, you might be listening to this being like, what on earth? But if you've ever had that moment where you go, I want to stop. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Giving yourself a goal. I think it's making a promise with yourself that of like, what is the thing that you're going to come away with and be proud of in that race. And the thing for me that never fails to work is I show up because I want to work hard. And if I'm bored in the first
literally
half,
the opposite of Rick's mantra.
yeah, Rick's like, I want to show up and do the bare minimum.
I've got 7 jobs. I've got 7 jobs. Yeah, literally.
Yeah,
I know you do work very hard, mate.
Yeah, I've done a job before I came here today.
We've hit a nerve.
Oh, look.
Was that letting people in so they could film in your house?
Correct.
Right. Opening the doors well hard.
Yeah,
mate.
we've hit a nerve. We've caught a big one. Let's reel him
You have
in.
to prep the house. Yeah.
But anyway, my one is working hard, and that for me worked in the first half of the race where I felt really bored because you just have to get through the first half and it's not really going to feel that hard. I was like, right, okay, I'm working hard now at being really patient because I know I'm going to have to work hard in the second half. Then when I hit the wall at 24k and was like, oh my gosh, we've gone off too fast, I can't do this, what on earth are we doing? I was like, no, I'm working hard in this little bit, I'm going to work through this and then hopefully we'll get to a good section. And we did. And then in the last 10k I was like, right, I've worked too hard for the last 2.5 hours to get bored, back off the pace and just scrape in under 3:30.
So I've seen you like London when it didn't go so well 2 years ago, but you did run a massive PB and then you're really upset with yourself.
I'm so hard on myself.
Yeah, you are hard.
You just didn't enjoy it though, did you?
No.
And also I've seen you in the 5k when I was pacing you, and I would say that there were points being like in that physical proximity to you. I could feel it. You could feel the negativity and the emotion, and you could feel the kind of like you're almost on the verge of tears.
Yeah.
Did you have any, like, do you think you were more, did you have any of that roller coaster in this one?
No.
Yeah.
I just had happy tears. And
At the end?
Throughout.
Oh.
Was it not hard though? You're giving the impression it wasn't that hard.
No, it was so hard.
Okay.
And I think anyone.
Yeah, don't worry, mate. It's going to be really hard.
I know.
It's so brutal.
I may feel like I'm ready for it, but I'm still dreading it.
Like running a marathon is, no matter how you run it, no matter how fast you run it. Like I was just so grateful throughout the whole thing, and but it is so hard. And do you know what I was thinking as well? I have run, I think that was my 6th marathon, and I've done quite a few PB attempts. I've also paced Tom to his first marathon, which was just over 6 hours, and I've now run one in under 3.5 hours. I actually think I was just so grateful to myself of like having put the hard work in and being able to get to 3 hours and being able to tell myself like less than 30 minutes to go, like hold on. And I think I think that for me was the moment where I was like, no, I do like having a time goal, because we tipped over halfway and then we were just counting down and it was lovely.
When you finished, someone said to you, if you'd have run that in carbon plated shoes, you would have knocked another 5 minutes off, but you don't agree with them.
I don't, I'll never be able to know. But for me, so I ran in the Asics Super Blast 3s.
That's what I'm doing in London.
Which, I know Andy's going to talk about this in a second, have a stack height of, I think, 46.5 millimetres.
Yeah, so we're 30 minutes into the podcast, and now's the point at which we reveal Sarah's marathon doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
So sorry about that. Let's start again.
Oh well, I'll go out next time.
There will forever,
Let's do heart rate.
there will forever be an asterisk next to your marathon time.
Let's just do heart rate zones.
Yeah. So
Doesn't matter. You asked me about this a few weeks ago, and I remember thinking, oh, well, I'm going to tell her she should run in them because then I can give her some stick in the podcast.
Yeah, this will come back very well.
No.
Yeah, so I made the decision to run in them. They're a
super trainer,
and they don't have a plate in them.
No.
The reason I made that decision is because I wanted to be in a shoe which I could walk to the start line in, I could warm up in, I could walk for 20 minutes after the race in, and feel like that felt like really comfortable. I also feel a little bit more comfortable in the like last 10k of the race, knowing that I've got a really kind of more supportive shoe.
And I think cramps or anything like that?
No, literally none. And so I wanted something that was super cushioned. I think I'm right on the cusp is what I would say, of like feeling like I want a carbon plate versus feeling like I just want something that's super comfortable. I was choosing between the Super Blast or the Meta Speeds. And I think for me, for like 5k, 10k half marathon, that's where I want to throw every single thing at it. Whereas I think, especially in a marathon, like we ran the whole thing, but there were still periods where I was like massively slowing down to grab a sponge or like dodging past someone to grab a cup.
To grab a sponge?
Oh yeah. I always thought sponges were pointless until yesterday. A sponge, I think, is the single greatest invention that anyone has ever held out in a marathon.
What's that thing that Owen uses in the shower? A loofah. A loofah.
Yeah. Very different.
They're very different things.
Well,
Yeah.
Owen had been nowhere near any of these sponges, so I knew I was safe.
Owen's not unique in that. I don't think it's like he's invented the use of a loofah. It's not like, what's that thing Owen uses in the shower? Oh, it's
just he takes
like
his
spaghetti or something.
That's true. That's true. It's just he takes his loofah on holiday with him.
Yeah. Did you bring it to Rotterdam? No, he didn't.
No. Okay.
Imagine.
He cares very much about his skincare.
He really loves his loofah.
But sponges, this is what I was going to say. I don't know whether they have sponges at London Marathon, but if it's warm,
I don't think so.
Take 3 sponges, sponge one.
Really?
Hang on.
Smash it into your head.
Take 3.
Smash one on the back of your neck, and then the third one just wipe your face with. It's lovely.
There's no way that I would have the coordination or delicacy to do any of those things. I'd just be like, pouring water over my head.
I've got really good, interesting news today actually about water on the course that we'll talk about in a second.
Yeah. The sponges though, they even had, I'm sure it must be disinfectant, but it smelled like it was like perfume. No, so it's literally just to cool you down. But it was lovely. It was like a little perfume sponge. Me and Katie got to the end and we were like, I don't even feel like I need a shower.
Did you need to?
Because I've just sponged.
Have you had a shower since yesterday's marathon?
I've had 2.
You did. Okay. Did you need to chase shade?
At times I really wanted to. And I'm so sunburnt because I had looked at the weather so many times and it had said between 10 and 14 degrees, cloudy, chance of rain in the afternoon.
Good.
And then it got to the weekend and I was like, I'm just not going to check anymore. Direct sunlight.
Was it warm?
70%. Yeah. So warm.
Oh, it's even more phenomenal performance.
So warm.
Yeah, it really is.
But again, I was just like, right, let's deal with it. Let's take everything we can. I was taking cups at the water station and just chucking it over myself.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say it, and we've sort of just talked about lots of lovely stuff, but I want to say how amazing it was to see you do it and how you've done this. Like I said, it was under the radar, and because there's a prima donna to your left who just takes all of the limelight all of the time. Blah 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 blah.
Who?
So to your left.
But you've just cracked out. With your various running clubs, you've been up at altitude and like. With the best will in the world, we wouldn't advise that someone goes to altitude for like 7 days. It's not helpful.
Yeah.
That was for you to experience the support that elite athletes get and how hard it is to do it. But it wasn't really a training aid for you. No. And despite that, you went skiing for a week.
Yeah.
You haven't worn carbon plated shoes, which I think is interesting. It's not necessarily a negative, but it's like it was a choice that you made.
Yeah.
And I was tracking you in the app, and it's interesting the Rotterdam app. Like it would on my iPhone, it would give me an update automatically, whether I wanted it or not. It turned out.
You're like, I can't watch.
Every 5K, Sarah's gone through a 5K, Sarah's gone through 15K, etc. And then I just saw you getting faster and faster. And then your result came in, and first off, 5 minutes before you finished, Jack from the team messaged our WhatsApp group. It's like, PB incoming. I was like, Jack. Well, I genuinely nearly threw my phone across the room because I was so invested in it. I was like, the ultimate commentator's curse. Like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah.
Doesn't he know how the world of karma works?
Some people were following the Masters. We were following you.
Yeah. And then I had the result came in, and I had a little sit down because I was quite emotional.
Oh, really?
I was genuinely very excited. And I was excited for the fact that 10, 15 hours later, Rick would find out about it.
Were you tracking it?
No.
Of course he wasn't.
Did you just open Instagram and be like, oh, Sarah's run a marathon?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've taken the mickey out of Rick there and ruined a nice moment. But like we take the mickey out of each other, and it's there's 3 friends here who are willing each other to do well, and I'll be doing the same for you.
No, I think you did.
2 weeks time, Rick.
You did an amazing job, and like Andy says, I think one of the biggest surprises is that we thought you were going to do well in Rotterdam, but I don't think anyone genuinely believed you were going to do that well. So, great job, mate.
Thanks.
I think what he said there is didn't have any faith.
Yeah, I kind of got that feeling.
I honestly didn't think you'd run what you've run. I think it's amazing. I think I've always thought you could run it, but just because you've been so chilled about it.
Oh, right.
You hardly talked about the time target.
It's probably quite useful that you didn't talk about it that much.
Yeah, I didn't really want like a target on my back at all. And to be honest, I didn't believe I could do it until 38K. Like there was we celebrated a little bit at 30K when because Katie had the 10K splits and we came through
celebrated
30K and
at
we
30K.
were up.
There's another waste of calories.
But we did
so much calorie wastage on this run.
It's chatting.
Hey, look.
Yeah.
But genuinely, like I think in marathons, there are very, very few. I've run 6 and I've had 2 which were days like that. And I think it's being patient, not setting and putting too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
And just like believing in yourself and soaking it up. And there is nothing better than we got to 40K and I knew that we were closing in on being able to run sub 3:29.
Yeah.
And there was no way I was going to tell Katie that because I knew we were going to have to do that if I told her. And we got to 41 and I think we've got footage of it. I looked down at my watch and be like, right, we need to go. And just zoom off.
And were you taking into account the fact that there was a bit of drift? So I think your watch clock 42.5 kilometers.
I was just going off the course.
So you weren't looking at, so were you manually lapping it?
Yeah. So I manually lapped at 41 and I was like, oh no, sorry. I manually lapped with 1,000 meters to go. They had a sign.
Okay. Yeah.
And I turned to Katie and I was like, we need a sub 4:30 and just ran off.
And what did you run?
I think if you look at the splits, it was like 4:24 or something.
So can we just wrap up by saying that one of my most emotional moments ever at the running channel was when we tried to pace you to 45 minutes. So like everyone come down to the track in Battersea to try and watch you break 45 minutes for 10K for the first time. And you ran 45:10 or something. 45:12. And we were like, I had a little cry afterwards. I was like, so, and then
failure works.
That's not what I was getting at, Rick. What I was going to say is how hard it was.
A good bit of failure. So useful.
So on the track, completely fresh.
Yeah.
You were trying to run 4:30Ks.
Yeah.
For 10K.
Yeah.
At the end of a marathon.
Yeah.
You've just looked at your watch with a K to go and gone, yeah, I'm just going to go faster than that. Like think about how much of a shift that is, both mentally and physically, over the course of 2 or 3 years. It's
absolutely wild. But hey, look, if there is one thing that I strive to do, it is keep showing up and showing people that I would not consider myself naturally talented as a runner at all. And I know there are so many people out there who are continually
you are
really annoyed that I keep calling myself average. And I'm sorry, and I will stop doing that. But I think that
we sometimes do it as it's the nature of YouTube. Like you're trying to make a comparison to say you're not an elite runner. So we might say in a YouTube title, average runner versus like pro runner. And people will get cross because you've run a sub 3:30, sub 20 minute, sub 45 minutes.
I'm definitely do not fit. I will limit calling myself average. But I think if there's one thing that just showing up can prove is that even if you think you're below average right now, just keep showing up.
Yeah.
You can do incredible things.
And what was your mate called that you ran with?
Katie. Oh my gosh, shout out to Katie. You need to keep showing up, and then you need to get yourself a friend like Katie Harbin, who is an absolute metronome and a phenomenal runner in her own right. And everyone at our running club has said, like, finally she's run a marathon, because if she can, that was her first marathon.
Is that her first marathon? Did she have to carry a GoPro?
Yeah.
Yes, she did. I mean, good on her. I mean, my brother's not only got to carry a GoPro when he runs with me, he's also got to carry a sun umbrella.
A little fan, an electric
grapes.
fan, and then he'll probably just carry you over the finish line. He's run a marathon before though, hasn't he?
I don't know.
I can't.
I think this should just be a running thing that we just get people who have never run marathons.
I can't wait for the fact. Does he know that he's going to have 42.2 kilometers of silence with you because you don't want to waste calories?
Are you seriously not going to talk to him at all?
No.
Really?
I don't. I think he...
Owen's just piped up with it's going to be a great video.
I'll say a few things.
Very excitingly though, what we can reveal is that after Rick's marathon, we will be bringing you a very special episode of the Running Channel podcast, which will all be filmed. So even if you are usually a listener, please tune in on YouTube
my God, this is
for
nuts.
the debrief, because we will be recording a podcast. I'm not even sure we've told you yet. We'll be recording a podcast with Tom the taxi driver, our London cabbie friend, driving around London, recapping Rick's experience on the course.
Oh, am I in this taxi as well? Yeah. Am I allowed in? Okay, that sounds fun.
All three of us driving around London.
I love it.
We're going to play little clips from the GoPro.
Yeah.
To recount
Rick won't remember
the hideousness of what's happened.
May have a bit of PTSD by this point.
So we're going to go play him the silent clips of the GoPro.
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to be a challenging video. This isn't it, to put together. Yeah.
Right. Enough
do some news.
Enough of me. Enough of him. News
then. So you talked about taking sponges on the course. Paris for both the half marathon and the marathon, which was at the weekend, the same time as you were running.
Yeah.
There's no cups or bottles in their events. Just water stations where there is effectively hoses and taps and stuff. And they're spraying water at you, or you can stop and fill up fill up sort of reusable stuff that you carry with you.
And this is to save waste, isn't it?
Yeah, and I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's like a mandate or it's a legal or a piece of legislation or whatever you would call it within Paris, within a certain radius where event operators have to kind of abide by this, I think.
Which I'm so conflicted by this, because it was really disappointing to see in Rotterdam that as we drove out to get back to the airport, we drove through some of the roads that had been closed, and where spectators had been standing was covered in litter.
Yeah.
And it was just, I understand.
You assume that the organisers do go around and sweep that up again.
And they must sweep it up. But I don't think it's the job of the organisers to clean up after you if you're a spectator. So like,
if you are, if
you're spectating a marathon, take your rubbish home with you. There were smashed glass bottles everywhere. There were bin bags on the floor. It looked like the aftermath of Glastonbury.
So where was this? This
in Rotterdam.
In Rotterdam.
However, I do think as a runner, we have to find a solution where people don't have to stop to take on water, because I think that's unfair. If you're trying to run as fast as possible, then yes, okay, you do slow down a little bit to come in and take a bottle or a cup. And I think, ultimately drinking out of a bottle is way easier when you're running than a cup.
Yeah.
But I understand, like Rotterdam had paper cups and it's fine.
Yeah, Valencia has plastic bottles, which is by far, if you're just, because ultimately it comes down to the trade-off between performance, but you are talking about performance for 20, 30, 40,000 people. So that's a lot of waste versus sustainability of like what's for the environment. Like, in Valencia they had plastic bottles, which was amazing from a performance perspective. Yeah. So I think that is the optimum.
But then the plastic bottles in Valencia and also in Malaga when I was running as well. Yeah. They were all over the road, and I saw people
fall over them.
Stack it.
Yeah, I do think plastic bottles are dangerous. I think they're
a bad idea.
Even the sponges were quite hard to run over.
My take on Paris is that this is a step too far.
I think so.
And,
do you know what?
And it also it leads people to go, you know what, I'm not going to carry a bottle because I don't want to carry anything. It's a pain. I've not trained with this, carrying a bottle. It. And people go, you know what, I'm just not going to take on water. So I think there's potentially a bit of a dangerous element there.
Yeah, I wonder what their numbers were of people with dehydration.
Yeah,
So
and we
I
saw
bet
some
they're
images,
higher.
didn't we, from the half, not from the marathon, where people were trying to run past these collection points of water and without stopping, almost like have their like reusable flask or pouch, whatever, open and just hope it's going to catch enough of the water.
Yeah.
And then other people stopping. And I think, could be wrong, there's definitely some marathons where, and I think they've changed this in Paris, where if you're running faster than a certain time, you get your own bottles that you can put out on the aid stations.
Oh, that's quite good.
But then that's fairly exclusive.
That's
Yeah.
pro.
And also, if say, I think I'd heard say 2:45. I think I'd heard that for certainly like Frankfurt. I think that's what they do.
Oh yeah, because you get an invitation to.
Yeah, but then
do
if
your
you
own
are sub
bottles.
2:45, that's still like probably 1,000 plus runners in some of the big
Yeah,
marathons.
and trying to spot
So how
the
would you get
bottle.
I don't know how you'd see your bottle. Like you've
No.
got tables with your massive name on if you're an elite. Like,
Yeah.
But
Do you know what I would like to see? I think if it's being mandated by the Parisian government, I hope that they're putting on some kind of like subsidy in order to allow, because like for an event organizer, that is an expensive change to have to make, or, or potentially they don't have to buy cups, so it's great. But we have talked about on previous podcasts, there is an invention that exists.
Yeah, and I don't know what's happened to this because I've not seen it rolled out. It sounds really clever. There must be something that's prohibited it being rolled out at scale.
Yeah, but it's like a little, it looks like a bubble, but it's a
It's like a capsule that you might put in the washing machine with your like detergent in it. Yeah.
But it's soluble and it has water in it. So
Yeah.
in theory, you could pick one of these up, pop it in your mouth, it dissolves and you get water,
Yeah.
which I think sounds way easier than doing the pinch and sip method from
Yeah.
a cup. But I'm guessing
Must be a
is
cost
an
thing.
expensive thing. But if we are getting to the stage where it's being mandated that sustainability needs to be the key thing, then surely we need to.
Yeah, because I would struggle to
for it.
choose. Like, I really wrestle with it because I don't want to be the guy who says I'm going to make a choice that's not based on something that's good for the planet. Doesn't
Yeah.
seem like the right thing to do for my kids and future generations. But at the same time, when I'm training really hard and I want to run fast, there's no way that I would choose to go to a marathon where I was going to have to carry my own water. I don't think.
I guess the only other option
That sounds
is,
really pathetic, doesn't it?
No, but then I think you put so
No.
many hours in.
Not if you've not trained with it.
Yeah,
But then
you
maybe
put-
I'd have to know because but if you were carrying enough water, that's probably as like at least a kilogram of water
Yeah.
that you'd be carrying.
Massive.
The
That's
other
quite a lot.
option you would have is banking on seeing like a spectator or a loved one, and then being able to
Yes.
hand you a bottle which you could then hand back.
Much bigger risk
But-
at something like London where it's just so hard to see
yeah,
someone.
but like imagine if London Marathon tried to roll that out.
Yeah.
Good luck. Your spectator is out there
literally-
somewhere.
Last time I ran London, I carried a set of headphones the size of a small suitcase that fits into the EasyJet compartment when you check in, looking for my mum and fiance the whole way around. Failed.
Yeah.
So I ran
hard.
across the line basically with a suitcase.
That's another reason why go to Rotterdam Marathon. 18,000 people running. Lovely.
Oh, sounds great.
Lovely.
Ah,
Questions?
Hello, Aspirational Andy, Sassy Sarah, and Rockstar Rick. Because yes, even Rick deserves some love every now and then. My name is Nina, and I'm a longtime listener from Vancouver, Canada, and I have a question for you about motivation. I'm currently training for my first half marathon, go me, but a lot of my long runs include pace targets that I have yet to be able to hit all the way through, despite consistently smashing my interval, tempo, and threshold paces. Any suggestions on how to stay motivated when I have yet to do so in my long run? Oh, and don't worry, Andy, I have in fact already subscribed to the new podcast YouTube channel.
Look at that! Did you pay Nina for that?
no, I didn't, but it's made my day, and it means I've not listened to the question at all.
They've subscribed.
I'm. Nina said she's training for her first half marathon, right?
Yeah.
So I am wishing you lots of luck. First of all, that's
Yeah.
the most important thing. Motivation comes and goes. Mine's been waning, and then coming again, and that's
Just
been
need
real.
to be born with it. And it's
I know.
easy.
And then really pathetic. I just said to you a minute ago, in a bit that's probably been edited out. I don't know whether it's from doing so much running or not sleeping enough, but my eye keeps twitching and I can't stop it.
Yeah, it's called
No.
is that myocomia?
It has a name that's like that, yeah. Maya something, I think.
Mycopia or something? Yeah.
So that's really distracting.
Should we help Nina?
Yes, please.
Sorry, yeah.
So I would say one question that I have is you're doing intervals, tempos and long runs, all which potentially have paces in.
Yeah.
I definitely hit a point in marathon training where I was having to choose between like, okay, do I want to nail this interval session or do I want to nail my long run? So potentially like give yourself a week where you give one priority over the other.
Yeah,
So like
be
back
kind
off.
to yourself and like
Yeah.
this is your first half marathon and therefore probably first half marathon training plan.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of stuff is new. The distance is new.
Yeah.
It might be that
don't expect that you can just do everything straight away.
No, but also it might be that you've identified the thing that you need to work harder on. So like some people struggle with speed, some people struggle with endurance.
Yeah.
Some people struggle with other stuff that can't come to mind because I'm too tired. But
good one. Good advice.
I'm not even making sense. But yeah, if you've identified that actually you can hit the speeds in the tempo runs and the interval sessions, but actually you're struggling like to be able to run faster on tired legs, then maybe that's a good kind of experiment to do for the week. Like back off on the interval sessions and the tempo runs.
And just make the focus your long run.
Make the focus.
And then also I would agree, I find exactly the same thing. The pace on the long run is probably easier than it is from the other ones. But it's the amount of time that you've got to do it for, which I've always found challenging because it's just mentally difficult to know, I've got to do this for this long.
Yeah.
Like that. So I would
when someone says like,
mentally.
you'll run, you will be out today for between 2 hours 40 and 3 hours. You go, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's a long old
But
time.
best of luck.
Yeah, we're wishing you lots of luck and thank you for subscribing to the new channel, which this is now on.
Yeah. Well done, Sarah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've been I think you've been the most coherent one of all of us, and you ran a marathon yesterday.
You don't look like you ran a marathon, which is
I'm
partly
in
a bit
bits.
annoying.
No, you didn't see me walk to work. I woke up with, I'm just in so much
Tom.
pain. So, no, actually, I woke up to Herbert, who we do let sleep in our bed, my dog. So I don't know anything else that is that excited at 6 a.m. And because Rotterdam was an hour ahead, me and Tom set our alarms for 7, but they went off at 6. And as soon as Herbert hears someone breathe or sniff for the first time in the morning, he's like, morning!
He's at it.
Well, I had the opposite experience this morning. My daughter's usually great at getting up out of bed. Today's the first day back at school after the Easter holidays. But by mistake, she'd set her alarm last night for 6:50 p.m. So I went in and woke her up and she was very upset because she was half an hour late getting
That
out
is
of
a
bed.
cracking line.
No.
Yeah.
Uni days, I'd probably set my alarm for about that.
Yeah.
And
that
you know,
sounds
hasn't Herbert got a bottom alarm that wakes you up anyway?
No, honestly, I don't know what it is. He only farts when he's in the office.
Okay.
I think
He saves it all
at
up.
home
Ban
he's
that dog
fine.
from the office.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Right.
If you're bringing the dog to work, then we have to ensure no naked flames at anyone near the office.
Yeah, damn right. Yeah.
And on that note,
Goodbye.
congratulations, Sarah.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.